Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Raider Sports, also known as Conference Realignment Turns. The college football season is obviously in the off season, so we have nothing really to talk about other than conference realignment. And with the fact that USC and UCLA jumped ship from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, it's now giving us a whole lot of speculation and rumors about what's going to happen next. There's rumors about Notre Dame. There's rumors about Clemson. There's rumors about the Pac-12 breaking up, the Big 12 taking over the 6 teams for the Pac-12. And it's all pretty much for nothing as of right now. The only thing we know is that UCLA and USC jumped ship. UCLA was having financial problems, and they jumped ship to the Big Ten to pretty much solve those problems because $100 million a year is, pretty much solves a lot of your financial problems. Let me tell you. But basically, that's what the move was about. UCLA was in financial debt and needed to clear up a lot of that. And with Larry Scott and his god awful Pac-12 deal, it was just best for UCLA and USC to get out of that. That way, USC makes a whole bunch of money, even though they're not in financial hardship. But UCLA, I guess, really was, according to Duckwire. And that's pretty much Oregon's side of the story anyway, is that UCLA was in so much debt they had to do it. And USC came along with them when offered by the Big Ten because they can make a massive fortune in comparison to what they would have made had they stuck in the Pac-12. So basically, if you believe Duckwire, that's the story behind why UCLA and USC jumped ship. Now, what we also know is that the Pac-12 has started a 30-day exclusive negotiation with ESPN and Fox, and then after those 30 days to renegotiate their media rights, then pretty much anybody else, Hulu and whatever else, wants to get involved, they can if the numbers don't add up. So we're going to know kind of a feel, and this is really where I feel the realignment is going. It's going to go towards what Fox and ESPN want. The Pac-12, George Kliavkoff, he's going to go up and he's going to say, okay, what's the number at 10? Here's the number we were at with 12. Now what's the number minus USC and UCLA now that we're at 10? Okay, now what teams or what schools or universities can we bring in that would bolster our numbers? Because 10 in today's market, with the way that college football is centered, is not viable, I don't think. So you have to go past 10. You have to look for expansion. The Pac-12 has already said expansion is on the table. Now it's just talking with ESPN and Fox and saying, okay, what markets and what teams are going to raise our number? What teams would you want us to grab and make an offer to? And so I think the Pac-12 will probably add 4, right? That would get them to 14. That would put them on par with the ACC, and then they can go into this little, ACC agreement, whatever that is, where they have a conference championship game. We could guess kind of like a Rose Bowl thing, except this would be between the Pac-12 and the ACC instead of the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. That's pretty much what I see that as I understand it. Scheduling arrangement and bowl game that would between the two conference champions. That's kind of what I see that being as. And basically, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out here and I'm going to give you guys the 4 teams I would see the Pac-12 joining, because it would make more sense, and I believe this is going to be more market driven than on the field driven. And so a team like I'm going to get the obvious one out of the way right now. Boise State is probably not going to join the Pac-12 because they didn't join the Big 12 because it was just thought of that Boise State, facilities and everything, that they just weren't ready to make that jump. And then you add in the fact that with the academic prerequisites that the hoity-toity Pac-12 has, and maybe they're not ready to give those up. So I'm just going to get Boise out of the way and say that they're not going to join the Pac-12. And so now we're looking at media markets, not exactly, on-field success or branding. So when it comes to those, I think the first thing that the Pac-12 has to do is they have to solidify their Southern California market. And so I would go into probably the two biggest ones you have outside of LA, which would be San Jose, which means you would have to pick up San Jose State. I know that doesn't sound like a popular option, but based on the demographics of San Jose, based on how many people are there, the market size, it would be something that they would have to look at as along with San Diego. That would pretty much give them two teams, solidify the Southern California market, and they'll have the Northern California market. And California is, of course, a huge recruiting base. So I think those two teams would make the most sense. San Jose State and San Diego State. And then a third team, again, it's not going to be something everybody loves, but the Pac-12, they do a lot of stuff out in Las Vegas. Their conference tournament is held there for basketball. I believe even in Clive Koff, he's from the Vegas market. He knows it. UNLV would have to be looked upon as a decent addition here, and they have a somewhat decent academics, so that may not be much of a problem. And so, yeah, so we got San Jose State, San Diego State, who they're great. They're a perennial top 25 every year. They're pretty much taking Boise State's place as the top of the at the top of the Mountain West. So that's a good one. So San Jose State, San Diego State, UNLV. And then I believe just for recruiting purposes that the Pac-12 has to get into the state of Texas. And so there was one team who was left out of the last round of realignment when it came to the Big 12, and who I think would fit. They're in a massive media market. They're in Dallas. They got a huge recruiting center in the state of Texas. It gets the Pac-12 into the state of Texas in order to try to compete with the SEC now moving, into pretty much having a control of Texas now, other than the Big 12 who has TCU and now Houston. And so now you have to compete where the competition is, right in the heart of Texas. So I think SMU probably makes sense if you can't, lure a Big 12 school like Texas Tech or something out. But just for this exercise, I think the easiest one to go with would be SMU. And then my fourth one, and yeah, those are my four. Yeah, so SMU, San Diego State, San Jose State, and UNLV. I'm not crazy about it either. It's just I feel like it makes the most sense. You get San Diego market, Dallas market, San Jose market, and Las Vegas Henderson market, which are all booming. They're all getting ready to just blossom out, and that's probably where you're going to see most of this action take place. Because if you're looking at things, the last round it went Houston, Cincinnati, Orlando, big markets, big alumni bases. That's kind of where everything's going to settle, is in the markets and not exactly on-field success or branding in this case. But that would be the way to save the Pac-12, is they pretty much have to pull mid-majors up from, the AAC and pull them up from the Mountain West. And, from there, hope for the best, because I don't really see anybody else in any major market like that. Maybe if you want to add another San Francisco school, maybe you go with Fresno, but again, there's hurdles there too. But yeah, those would be my four. Your four are probably going to look different, so let me know your four down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Ken Raider, and I'm signing out.